Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I'm Bobby, also known as Blazzinbob. No Mel this week. Mel is got jury duty and is in deliberation, so she will not be joining us, and I think when she gets home, she's going to be tired of arguing with people and probably just want to relax on the couch. So I jump in, wave, say hi, but I doubt she's going to be on the show today. But we do have a great cast on the show today. First off, we have Winky. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey. Doing good? Are those fries good? They look good.
These are harvest snaps. They're my new obsession because they're not terrible for you.
They already sound bad.
They're so good.
Yeah,
but you just said they're not disastrous for your health, so they can't possibly taste good.
I believe if I eat enough of them, I can make them dangerous for my health.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at diets, I found keto, and I was like, wait, pork rinds is like my main snack? Okay.
Hey, that's bad for you.
And we also have ubiquitous. How you doing? Welcome back. Is this 2 weeks in a row? 3 weeks in a row, maybe, because you came on the weird pod. Yeah.
Turning into a part, like a piece of the furniture.
So. I didn't even realize that till just now, but I guess I like you. I don't know. Well, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
And once again, welcome to the show, SimonizeShow, the Rogue Master.
Hello, thank you for having me, Bob. I love to be here every time. You invited me a couple other times. I couldn't make it. I'm happy to be back. You know, always love hanging out, talking World of Warcraft, talking Rogue, talking about, oh my God, Phase 3 is pretty good for Rogues now. Phase 2, we were a little bit like, we were down bad, but now Phase 3, we're back.
We are good now.
Yes.
Oh man, it feels good. It feels right. It feels right. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the hardest parts about this show, and Winky knows too, because he used to do F's in chat. Just finding times everybody can get there and do the show is, it's pretty tough. But especially when a new phase launches, like everybody's like, bro, I want to, but I got too much shit to do. It's just so much. So, but we're happy to have you here now, and I'd like to start the show off by thanking our tank patrons in Croxford, Turtle Whale, and Braxton. I want to remind you guys we stream the show live on Twitter or Twitch at twitch.tv/Blazzinbob, BLAZZINBOB. We are going to start the show off with our comment of the week. Then we have one voicemail this week. Then we'll see what we've been up to. Then we'll move on to some news, and we'll go over that a little bit. There's some things to talk about, some not really much to talk about. But then we're going to end the show with a discussion on, is raiding too easy in the Season of Discovery, as well as the Phase 3 DPS rankings. So with that, let's get started with the comment of the week. And since Mel's not here, I guess I'll go ahead and read it. So this was in response to liking Phase 3. Way better than last phase so far, although ultimately I'm sure I'll end up raid logging it, and that's okay. Part of the reason I like SoD is I can just focus on one tune and not have to play all the time. My question is here, is he talking like in a few weeks or something? Because I only do 2 tunes, and I play pretty much a minimum of 8 hours a day, except maybe on weekends. And I'm not even close to done with everything I have to do. I have to get patterns. I have to farm enough gold for my epic mount on 2 tunes. I've got to get all of these reps up. I've got to do PvP because I was dumb and didn't save all the honor marks from last phase. I've got to do I got to get the key for BRD. I've got to get, so many things. Well, only on one tune. My rogue doesn't need it, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, are you guys bored yet with anything? It's 2 weeks.
I feel like in phase 3, there's more to do than almost, than any of the other phases. Like if you're trying to max out one character, there's so many different things to do. And like some of it gets to like kind of marginal increases in power, but there are still like big things like Librum of Veracity. Like for rogues, you have multiple BOEs that are quite good that you want to get, and like if you want to get everything, you got to participate in different parts of the game. Like you got to participate in PvP, get your Blood Moon stuff. You got to participate in dungeon grinding to, get your dungeon drops, the raid to get the raid drops, but like not everything that's BIS comes from the raid. And then you got to participate in the player economy to access like expensive things like Librum of Veracity and like the Flask of Nightmarish Mojo to get your shoulder enchant, and potentially any like BOEs like Julie's Dagger or whatever that are good for your class. And I think that's good. I think, having good gear from so many different areas of the game encourages people to engage with the game in a bunch of different ways. And a lot of people will just complain that, oh my God, there's so many BOEs that, they're so expensive. It's like, yeah, well, one part of the game is, figuring out how to efficiently make gold. Yeah. I think that's cool.
And if you get, like, you can go, maybe you get a BOE that you don't want, but then you sell that and you buy the one you want,
Yeah, right.
But I think a lot of people, I think you hit something on the head there. I've been talking to a lot of people trying to get them to do dungeons and stuff, and they're like, why? I think a lot of people miss the memo that the BIS list for Wowhead just came out, and that's like what a lot of people probably go by. The really super sweats are in your Discord, Rogue Discords, Warlock Discords, other Discords and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people go just by Wowhead, and I think a lot of people just didn't realize how many gems are in the dungeons. And I think it's great because it gives you so much more to do. But I think a lot of people just don't realize it.
Yeah. And I mean, the 3 like high level dungeons, you got Martin, you got BRD, you got Zul'Farrak, they have the wild offerings too. And it's like, even if there's everyone needs like a lot of wild offerings. Some of those things are very good. But even if you already have all your wild offering things, you can get more wild offerings and trade them in for Dark Moon cards. And like, sometimes you're going to get a Dark Moon card that's not worth much. Other times you're going to get a Dark Moon card that's worth hundreds of gold. So it like provides an incentive for even the geared players to continue doing these dungeons.
Yeah, we had 2 people. Cool. I had 2 friends that got them. One got a Dunes card worth 300 gold, and one got a Wilds card worth like 1.5 gold. It's just like, I mean, that's the slot machine for you. But it is cool that there's incentive for people to keep helping their friends with those runs, And then we've like, if someone says in our friend group when we're doing princess runs, they're like, hey, I could really use this piece from this guy. We're like, okay, we'll just run over there and do it real quick, So it's been pretty cool to like slot every different thing. And same with Zul'Farrak, doing all the different, what did I just have to do in there? Oh, I had to get my egg. I wonder how many people know that you have to have the Hakari egg quest done to summon the last boss in Sunken Temple. Because I didn't know that week 1.
Probably someone else in my raid will do it. I didn't do it. I got enough other stuff to worry about, and someone else has done it all in all my raids, so I'm not concerned.
What about you 2, Winky or Ubi? Are you bored? Do you still have tons to do? Like, I know Winky probably does.
I'm very busy because I don't have all the time in the world to play. So, and rather than min-max 1 character, I'm working on 3 rogues. So I'm still in, like, there's that much to do. I'm still doing the, early in the phase, you've got those big leaps that you make in power level. Like Simon said, I haven't even had a chance to look at like getting a Dark Moon card or Librums or anything like that, because I'm still on all 3 fronts. Like, God, one of my rogues still needs to do a couple more STVs. I haven't even got the coins to get the dagger on one of them yet. That's because I come home, I play about 90 minutes every day. I think I read, talk, and watch the game 10 times more than I actually get to play it. But then once I get on, it's all like min-max, try and get something going. But at least my main rogue's pretty sorted. Like my main rogue's 98% kind of done, and it's just the other two that I'm working on now.
Yeah, I find the STV, everybody's been getting real used to that. Like I feel bad bugging my friends who hate doing it to do it with me, every time. And so I've just kind of converted to, unless someone really asks me to do it, I just like go there, get in a pug, and 4 out of 5 times the pug's great. The leader just has a pull 3 timer. Everybody waits when they die at the thing, and then just pull 3, and we res again, and then kill a few people, and then we die, and then we res again. I get about 1,200 coins just doing that.
I think some players just hate dying, as if dying in STV means you're a bad PvPer. And it's like, dude, we're all going to die like 20 times. But like, if you're in a good party, it's a lot of fun. Like, if you leave with 1,800 coins, it's very satisfying.
I've had a lot of fun. Really good STVs and really, really bad STVs as well. So kind of a mixed bag. But yeah, I'm actually super grateful because I'm kind of the same way, UB. I don't have that much time to play, at least in this point right now. So I'm really grateful for Bob specifically, because he'll text me like on my phone when I'm away from my computer, and he'll be like, dungeons, get on. And sometimes I need that like push to be like, okay, I'll go get some wild offerings with the boys, right? Sometimes I just get lost in the sauce of like going outside and doing things, which is not what you're supposed to do as a World of Warcraft player. So I appreciate that. There's so much left for me to do with phase 3. Like, I don't understand. I was listening to some streams, like the launch week, and they were like, oh yeah, there's really nothing to do anymore. And I was like, what? How? Like, okay, I'll call him out. I love Ompy to death. That's one of the boys. But he was explaining to Soda in his chat just the other day, like, don't play phase 3. It's boring and there's nothing to do. And I was like, what? How? I don't get it. I mean, playing 12 hours a day probably sets yourself up to not having too much left to do especially if you prep really hard. Yeah. And they're crazy. They're to the point, like Ompy, Grays, like they all level new tunes just to have a quest stack and student fodder and like all this stuff for the next phase, like preemptively. If you ever go into Grays' stream now, he's just prepping for the next phase already. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. I just log in and play the game.
Well, they like the speed stuff, right? I mean, so speed running.
I am sad though. I didn't get to take part in the Nightmare Incursions while they were busted and everyone got a bunch of gold from them.
Dude, I was so happy. I was like, I wanted to try it because it was new on launch day. So I went there with my leveling group. And like, we were learning along the way, like figuring out what the hell this whole thing is. And we still beat the like super try hard, like Ompy's dungeon leveling group. We beat them to 50 by like over an hour, I think it was. And
it was a blessing when they nerfed the gold. The XP was still good, right?
They nerfed those like, so much.
I was so excited because I think it was a Grend on Twitter. He was like, we're going to fix the XP rate even after the gold nerf with Nightmare Incursions, right? And he was like, so that I wake up in the morning and he literally had tweeted out, I'm sick today, so there's not going to be much going on in the office, which I thought was weird that like someone has to call in sick like to the world as well. Because, right? But I was like, yes, this is perfect because I hadn't leveled yet. And I was like, I'm going to go exploit this Nightmare Incursion XP before they nerf it. I hit 50 and they nerfed it like 2 hours later.
The Incursion XP is still good. I actually leveled my second rogue, hit 50 yesterday, and I like finished off the like last level and a half in Incursions, and it was like 45 minutes for a level and a half. It's crazy. Still good.
I actually like it though, because I think Season of Discovery, whether it ends up being something bigger with like Classic Plus or whether it ends up just actually ending as a season, I like that there's like these crazy fast catch up mechanics. They give you level 50 gear because you're going to be honored by the time you hit 50 anyway. And like you get the opportunity if you want to experience all of these classes that you might not normally play, and like you get to play with all the changes and stuff before they potentially go away forever. So that's pretty cool.
It's like in regular era, you know, you spend what 6 to 8 days leveling a character up. Like if you don't know you're gonna like it, that's asking a lot to try a new class, you know. I think the biggest improvement that happened with a Nightmare Incursion is someone came out with that add-on that automates all the quest sharing and all the opening of the envelopes and the deleting of the crap. That was so obnoxious to do on day one before that add-on existed, and I did it the other day, and I'm just like, oh, so I just clicked the button over, and okay, this is great.
You know what else that does that I realized? It shares with people outside of your party. So it just goes person by person in your raid. Oh, they have it. Next person have it. Oh, the next person have it. Like in your like you could be in a raid, like, but you're not really in a raid. Like, but it's giving people it just that are standing close to you. It's crazy.
Are they going to fix that? That's got to be against TOS, an add-on that does that.
I don't know, man. I have no
you're
idea.
You're not supposed to be able to share it outside your party, right?
I don't know. I had never tried. Like, you know what I mean? I had never tried.
True.
It seems like you're able to, you know?
Yeah, because I've randomly had quests. Like, I go in. I went in to do my to just get the quest to start my my crafting quest, and I just had to get the buff. I was in a party by myself. I walked out with 3 quests, and I was like, "Wait a second, I didn't pick up any quests." So somebody just randomly was sharing it to me. And it's probably when that add-on was getting like first introduced, maybe. Like I don't know, but it's crazy.
I think after what unfolded this week, in hindsight, if everyone's not greedy, I've come to the opinion that incursions should never have given any gold at any stage whatsoever at all. It should have just been rep and XP, and that was like the cost to level faster is that you didn't get gold, because it's cooked a lot of things, especially what happened in the last 48 hours. It's been pretty bananas.
I completely agree. Actually, I think that there should never have been gold tied to incursions at all.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I hadn't heard that take before, and you know, now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, that probably would have been better, because I feel like so much just raw gold is flooded into the player economy because it's so easy to access it. It inflates a lot, and then like people who are just holding on to like a reasonable size amount of gold, the buying power of that gold goes down when all this inflation occurs, so they can buy like less stuff because with the gold they're just hanging on to.
Well,
which never feels good.
It probably should have just been like any repeatable quest. I think most repeatable quests you get experience and gold the first time, but these just should have been experience after the first time. Like you get 10 gold for every quest the first time you do it. Everybody gets a nice little chunk of dough, and then and then it's on you if you want to just keep doing that, right? Like,
yeah, they could have probably left them in their original unnerfed state if it was a one-off sum, because that was a nice little like 200 gold injection if you did you full did the kill quest and stuff on that first couple of hours. But yeah, it was right up that alley of protect us from ourselves, because I think I was watching Sarth maybe, and he was on this, or I think he was talking to you, Simon, but it was like, oh well, I've got to go join the train. And it's like he didn't want to be there, but it was just so good that he had to go join the 400 people running laps in Hinterlands.
That was the problem is even in Classic, the players will do the path of least resistance no matter what, right? So if you can make gold exploiting something, even if it's not fun, you're going to do it. And it's bad. Like it reminds me a lot of multi-boxing before multi-boxing was ousted by Blizzard. The only way you could keep up with people that were multi-boxing was by multi-boxing yourself. And even if you didn't want to, if you wanted to be ahead of the curve and like, go do your jump runs yourself in 2019, like you had to buy 5 accounts and multi-box. And it was a nightmare. I mean, I did it. I'm not going to lie. I had a ton of fun with it too, but
I kind of missed
I mean, I kind of feel like with these incursions, like I'm looking at YouTube every once in a while and it's like, people have these like gold farming videos, right? Everyone makes gold farming videos, and they're like, oh my god, you can go to this particular place, farm this particular mob, kill it's high level, it's kind of difficult, and you can make 80 gold an hour. And I'm like, isn't this video a joke? Like, Incursion's 150 gold with your brain off.
Yeah.
Right?
Keyword
Like,
brain
it just
off, like, actually brain off.
invalidates so many other things.
Mm-hmm. The gold farming is just terrible. As someone that doesn't have too much time to play right now, I'm so far behind. Like, we're about to raid last week, and Bob messaged me like, "Hey, are you doing good on gold? Like, do you need consumes? Like, what do you need?"
Yeah,
it's tough.
Tanks, like, he is a tank in our raid, and tanks have to do both defensive and offensive consumes. Offenses so they keep threat, and defensive so they don't die. You know? Like, so it's kind of rough on tanks.
I'm standing here with 3 rogues right now. When do you think rogue tanking is actually going to be a thing?
I mean, it's a thing now.
It's kind of good. It's just we've been who was the other class? When Shadow Priests were really strong, you couldn't find a priest healer to save your life. Rogue DPS is just so fun and good that everyone's like, yeah, don't want to tank, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say,
boring or not as good. So
pre-SoD, all of my friends that were rogues were super excited about tanking. And now it's like, I look at it, I don't know a single rogue that has any interest in it at all.
Well, Kef tanked for us in Nomer, all of Nomer. Kef in our raid, and he just wanted to go back to DPS this phase, but he did tank the first raid we were in, the first lockout on, I think it was a Sunday, and they actually ended up moving him to tank, to main tank on Uranicus, because he just took so little damage, and it was hilarious. It was April Kit Kat's raid group, and her guild, and the people that were in the raid were like, "This is nuts. He's taking no damage. Like, are you not tanking? Are you not getting hit? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "I've never had a rogue tank. This is actually kind of amazing."
It'll be interesting with like Molten Core and stuff like that for this, because I'm speaking as a Warlock tank. That's the eyes that I see through. Everything we do is fire damage. So I don't know how a Warlock could even touch Molten Core and hold threat.
Yeah,
it'll be something, some sort of way. I don't know.
I don't know. Like in Nomergon, rogues are really concerned that like all the mechanical bosses, mechanicals are typically immune to both bleed and poison mechanics, and it's like rogues aren't like a mages where it's like, okay, you spec fire or you can spec frost or you can spec arcane, so like get around those immunities. Like, you take away poison and bleed, your rogue kind of just doesn't do anything. So they just like nerfed poison and bleed damage by 20%, but didn't make them immune. So it's like you still hit them, but like it wasn't great. Yeah.
You talk about
maybe they would do a similar. I'm thinking they would do a similar thing with the like fire immunities in Molten Core, like change it from an immunity to a 20% reduction.
I was thinking they would do that, or maybe even introduce some kind of rune that you can use as a meta tank that changes your damage type of Searing Pain or something, or gives you a boost to your shadow damage for certain raids where you would want to tank something that's fire immune.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. We'll see. But I think going back to your rogue thing, I think rogue tanks are gonna be coming out of the woodwork come next phase, because legendary.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody's gonna want the legendary.
That's why I want swords buffed.
I was talking to Showback the other day. He was doing the incursion loop, farming some gold, and he showed me. He opened his bag. He's already stacking up Arcanites to save up for his Thunder Fury.
Oh,
He's got a plan.
That's awesome.
I think Thunder Fury is changing. I think there's going to be some big changes to legendaries.
I think there's going to be a bunch.
It'd be really nice to see, like, you do the Thunder Fury quest line and you can turn it in for like a spell power Thunder Fury, or like something that makes it to where you've got like these, everyone could want one, or maybe even throw in additional legendaries or something. I'm excited to see. I'm actually really, really excited for next phase, believe it or not. I can't, like,
I think it would be super hype. If like right now we have the hunter solo like Rockdalar bow quest, and we have the priest benediction quest out of Molten Core, but there's like no other class quests of the same caliber. I think it would be great, is like easy slam dunk, if they make a similar like epic weapon quest about mastery of your class for every class,
That'd be cool. I mean, our boy Zyrene, I guarantee, is having a blast designing these new tier sets, and like, I mean, the neat like 3-set bonuses and stuff. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, but we do need to move on to the voicemail. But thank you for your comment. It sparked a lot of convo. I'm gonna play the voicemail if I can get it to come up. Here we go.
Hey Bob, calling from Sydney, Australia here. I've got a question in relation to the honor commendations from STV. We used these to get to rank 7 before phase 3 even dropped. As soon as the patch came in on the Tuesday, we used all our coins, bought all the marks, got enough honor to get to rank 7 and didn't have to do a lick of PvP. And I'm wondering whether you think it's going to be the same next phase. I did notice that the commendations now have a unique to 99 in your bag at a time. Do you think that after the patch stops on the Tuesday, like after that week's PvP reset, going into the next phases, PvP, do you think that's going to be available? Do you think that they're going to cut it off? What do you guys think about this?
So I'll go first. I think it is going to work, but you're going to be a little bit sad here on this one, because I was, last phase, it was 25 copper for 250 honor. So therefore 1,000 honor per 1 silver. I did the math. I was going to go up to the next rank. I got enough PvP in to just use the amount of silver I had, 20. So I was going to get 20,000 honor, and I was like, all right, sweet. I'll just, I'll go do stuff with my friends today instead of just no-lifing the BG. Well, Monday night, I went there right before bed and found out the price has changed. It has quadrupled. It is now 1 silver coin for 250 honor, making it not worth it, I don't think, at all. Like, if you're getting 1,200 a run, like that's like 3K honor. Like, I don't know that's like, it makes more sense now, but it's way more expensive. Like, it probably should have been that expensive from the start. But yeah, it's something that I didn't see a patch note on. It just kind of was there, and I was like, are you kidding me? But I don't know. What do you guys think? You think they'll stop it this next time around? I just wish they would.
I don't actually know.
Will. I think they should. I think because no one really does battlegrounds unless you just like doing them. You know what I mean? Or at least if you prior planned. Now people are doing battlegrounds because of that nerf. So I think the nerf is good because it's more efficient to go and do battlegrounds. Well, it was more efficient to kill people at the incursion portal for 8 hours. But now that that's kind of a bit harder to do, people are getting back into battlegrounds. And I didn't like that battlegrounds were largely irrelevant for all of SoD so far, unless you went hard in Warsong Gulch really, really early.
Yeah, I can't. I completely agree. That's kind of my thought too. Just keep people. I like the traditional ways you get honor in World of Warcraft. I don't really think we need a new system for that.
It kind of, if you're looking at it like an average, yes, if you get into pre-made, you're probably going to make more honor. And by pre-made, I mean queuing simultaneously with other groups. But it's gonna be better than the farm. But it's kind of in line almost with the same amount of honor you would get, I guess you would get maybe a little more if you're making 1,200 coins, but a lot of people aren't making 1,200 coins. So it's kind of just more in line. And so you have different options to do it. So
yeah, now that it's nerfed, it goes against that like path of least resistance again, because you've got a whole week to get your honor. it's like you just looked at it and went, oh, I can do 4 STVs and hit cap, and it's only 2 hours. And it's like you could go do 3 hours of Warsong Gulch. People go, no, I want 2 hours. 2 hours is less, 2 hours is better. Even if they don't even like doing STV more than they like doing Warsong Gulch, it's just because it's more efficient, less time, people will lean that direction. So it's good that it's worse than Battlegrounds now. That way, if you despise versing pre-mades, you still have STV as an option, but it's not the fastest option.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good. You know, the honor was in phase 2. Blood Moon was the best honor farm. It was the best like Blood Moon farm. It was the best Arathi Basin reputation farm. It was the best everything farm, and it definitely invalidated other modes of PvP. So I think the nerf is definitely good.
Yeah, the thing they need
honor cost or whatever.
The thing they need to do now is either up the price on, because it's still way better to get rep through STV. It'd be nice if they just did a little more rep gain, because 3 marks is 100 rep, and then you get like, I don't know, maybe 300 like rep in a game. I'm guessing, but it's like that's if you win maybe, but it's not great. So maybe upping that
is that, you know, STV is only at once every 3 hours. So it is kind of like, you can't just like sit there and target farm it for 50 hours a day. So I'm glad it's at least on a pretty hefty cooldown. So there's still people that queue in between Blood Moon events, which is nice.
Yeah,
I
mean, the limited event, the limited event should have some like special good things about it.
I was gonna say, like, I've said this last time I was on the show, and just all you need to do to make people want to do stuff is add cool cosmetics, man. Like add tabards, make titles, put other mounts in. Like people love that stuff, and they'll go do whatever activity you want to do if there's something that they can chase out of it. So
remember how cool the first people that got tigers thought they were in STV, just rolling around. Shit. Like, and it's just a slow tiger, dude. It's not even 100%. Like, it won't be used next phase unless they buff it. So
dude, people farmed SM Armory for the tabard just to try and get it to wear it around. Like you could make some really cool low effort stuff in terms of development that people love doing.
I love the box trinket that turns you into a box. I like the bush one, the bargain bush. I got that.
Oh my God.
I love just clicking it and walking around. I'm a bush now. Oh, it's great.
Dude,
very fun.
We were doing princess runs, and it was alliance heavy. So I was the one with the staff. Everybody was dead. I was stealth behind the 2 statues in the hall when you walk through. I was stealthed in there, and I saw the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Just a bush walk by slowly. And I was like, I gotta clip that. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. But I love going, see, for my rogue, it's not as fun just because I have stealth. But my hunter, I give my cat stealth in the Arathi Basin, and then I turn into a bush or a box in a different spot. And it's and I just guard, and it's freaking hilarious. People are so caught off guard. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah. My Sunken Temple soft res is actually the trinket to turn me into a grub. That's all I want from this whole phase.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one, dude. That one is awesome.
Well, the items are really cool.
I'm told that you can fight and like attack and cast spells while in grub form.
Yep,
which is awesome.
Grub. Yep. And as a rogue, you can come out of stealth as a grub.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That is just so worth the trinket slot.
Looking around,
dude. That's the best. I got the Trog trinket in phase 2. You can fight in that one also. And I was testing it to see what animations the Trog has. And I found out it doesn't have any swimming animation.
Oh.
So if you go into the water, it just has like a idle standstill animation. And it just like angles really weirdly as you swim through the water at different whatever angle you want. It's just this like, I'm like this, and it's hilarious.
It's the same when you jump. You're all moving, and then you jump, and you just like
and then
stiff it up.
Stand still and jump,
and then you land, and you're moving again
like that.
Yep.
These are the best items that they've added. 100%. The fun, the turn into a bush, turn into a trog, turn into a grub. The rainbow
world
generator.
warper.
Oh my god, dude! That one is cool. They added that this phase too.
People are making crazy designs because one person sends it to one person, then that person sends it to another, then they send like they're making these crazy designs all over org and stuff. I can't even imagine the Alliance is probably doing more stuff. Oh man, well, what's everybody been doing this week? What's everybody we've been focusing on?
Don't look at me.
Okay, I'll go first. He's running away. Yeah, I mean, I like got my main rogue like as geared as I want it to be. Like, I don't have a Julie's dagger yet. I don't have some of the really expensive BOEs. But like I'm thinking maybe I don't get those anyways. Whatever, who cares? So I'm working up on the second rogue, got him up to level 50. And now that I did all the stuff once, I'm like making moves at level 50, progressing multiple different quest lines at once. It's like I go up to Fellwood, I start my Wild Gods quest. I'm in the area. I pick up a Songflower buff. I go to Winter Spring. I do that quest in Winter Spring for the gloves. Then I go back to Ashenvale, do the PvP event because it's like now that I know all the things, I can multitask and progress different things at once. Whereas when I did it on my main, I was like, okay, I do one thing at a time, progress this thing, get it done. And I feel like the knowledge of knowing what to do, I'm just blasting through. I'm getting this guy like raid ready way faster. And I'm going to join a run on Monday. It's probably going to be it might be a run with the guild I know, or it might be a demon run from Trade Chat, and we'll see.
Well, that's what's kind of cool. Like I've been doing the same thing, but basically with my friends that don't have as much time. Like they'll get on and they'll be like, I need to do this, this, and this. And they're like, I haven't done my wild growth quest. I'm like, got you, bro. You're a druid. My rogue has the item. Skip going to hinterlands. Like, let's just stealth right there, kill the boss. You start the quest. Like there's a lot of items like that you can go back and help people with, or people doing their professions. If you save those bracers, you can go help them kill the final boss. Like, it's pretty cool that there's ways to skip things with friends. Like, I think that's really cool. It's not like you can send it to your alt, find some buddies, like same with the Rampage rune. You were talking on your stream, I think right before this, you're like, or maybe, I don't know, you were talking about some
Carnage rune?
Yeah, Carnage. And you were like, find a rogue, have him open it, get in his group, and boom, you don't have to work up lockpicking, right?
Yeah, dude, lockpicking's the worst.
But
if you have someone else who can level it, or who has it leveled and doesn't have the rune yet, you just group with them and they can do the thing.
I've done it on all three rogues.
Oh no! Well, what I did learn is if you do level it up to 225 yourself, and then you go to the chest where you get the Carnage rune, you open the chest, you get a skill point off of it, you kill the mob, don't loot the rune, and then you just hang out. And as long as you don't loot the rune, you're allowed to open the chest again and again, and you can take that up to 250.
Whoa,
I did that on my main.
Big brain. Damn.
I wonder actually if you could take it up to 300 if you just don't loot a Carnage rune the entire phase. And then you wait until level 60.
Wow.
Yeah, possibly.
Man, okay, that's huge because me and my buddy Casimo just double rogued it in Searing Gorge and killed all the other rogues, all the Alliance rogues. It was actually great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But solo, man, you're just gonna trade off with the other rogue, because you're gonna wait for them to start opening a chest. Then when they get back, they're gonna wait for you to start opening a chest. Like, and if they're the same skill, you're just gonna trade back and forth. But two rogues, you own it, which is pretty fun. Or maybe a druid, but yeah. So, what about you, Ubi? What have you been up to?
Well, I showed you last time. I've got my notepad here with what to do on all my characters because there's so much to do. I had to write it down, and I'm ticking them off and scribbling them out. Like, I mean, DB Cobber on Crusader Strike, his list is very long, but I'm getting through it. But I'm someone, I want to get cooking. I like making my own thistle tea. I like to flesh the character out properly. So, like this whole show, I've been I've gone herbing and alchemy on this one because I need to farm to make, like, I like herbing to make gold, even though incursions is good now. And I just wanted something different. So I've gone alchemy. I've never leveled alchemy in 20 years, and it seems like their flask is pretty cool. So that's all I've been doing. I've been doing alchemy this whole time that we've been chatting. But
nice.
yeah, there's just, I know it's not for everyone that loves vanilla, but I'm kind of a fan that, like, even if I've just got 40 minutes, I can jump on, I can do an Emerald daily and maybe an Ashen Veil, and it feels good to get 1 and a bit K rep in both those reps, and then, you know, do something else for 20 minutes and log off, and you go, for a 40-minute session, that was pretty productive. So I kind of like that they've introduced a few of those to the game, and I can only imagine even more casual players that play less probably like that, you know, one day I will get the Exalted Warsong Gulch braces and stuff like that. So,
dude,
yeah, if you're weaseling away.
If you're not going to min-max on a rogue, like for perfect, you know, engineering items and leatherworking items, you're going to be able to make, and I mean, I'm talking in next phase too, a rogue with mining and herbalism. I know it sounds weird. You can't track them both at the same time, but you going in for 5 dungeon lockouts and a lot of dungeons is just absolutely going to be absurd money. Also getting Arcanite from the hives in the very bottom left of Kalimdor. Yeah. Like those are really hard for people to access solo. So rogues can just go and grab those easy as heck. Like there's a lot of money to be made later on with those two.
My second rogue on the Aussie server is mining herbing, and it's just a money printer. And like, even though hunters can kind of do it better in some spots, I don't care. I like playing rogue, and because it's fun world PvP. Like being a rogue that's a double gatherer, and you get a macro. I just pressed shift spacebar, and it just flips between mining and herbing, and you just do that like out of habit now. I've done it for so many years. It just switches between the two, and you've got your gatherer.
That now.
Yeah. You'll know I'm in the middle of 5 mining nodes, press it, none there, back to herbing, and you just do that. And I've got my EPL, my Eastern Plaguelands lap that I like when you have both, because there's so much rich thorium and plague bloom and stuff there, but that it's a bit too dangerous to be doing that now. Maybe next phase.
See, dude, you were talking about trying out different classes. Somebody was at the start of the show, and the phase 1 was so much easier to do that, at least for me. And like I found a new love. Like I thought my druid and my rogue were going to be my mains, and you know, in phase 1, but it turned into hunter and rogue. Like hunter is fun as heck to PvP too, man. Like I'm still getting good at it because there's so many tools, and almost every time I die, I'm like, dude, I could have used this and not died. Shit. Like there's like rogue is kind of muscle memory for me. But but like the hunter has been really fun to learn and like get into, and I don't know if I'd like it in regular classic, but like trap launcher, like all these different things are so cool, and just being able, my PvP build is like a mix between doing good damage at ranged and up close melee with a 2-hander. And people come in on me while I'm shooting it. And I'm like, It's like that meme. This is when he knows he fucked up. Like, because I just smack them for 1,200 a hit, crit. Like it's nasty. It's fun.
I don't know. Maybe some people realize this, some people don't. With all the hunter like melee runes activated, their Raptor Strike ability is a better melee ability than Rogue's Mutilate, and it's a better melee ability than Warrior's like Mortal Strike in terms of damage per press. Yeah, it has all these modifiers stacked into it, hitting with both weapons. It's like literally better than these like insane melee class abilities. It's just completely next level. It's very strong.
It hits better with the 2-handers, and that's what I see most hunters PvP guys, but like I'm kind of learning from Maui, watching him, and using a 2-hander allows you to take trap launcher, and like trap launcher is just broken. Like being able to be fighting somebody, friend comes up to heal, boom, I just froze him for a long time, like, and didn't even really and wasted one global. You know, it's crazy how good you can make that in PvP.
I swear traps are springing faster than they ever did, batching aside. Like, I just see the little frosty arrow in the air and I'm cubed. It didn't even hit the floor yet. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I'm just going crazy, but those traps are going off far too quickly, especially ranged. Like,
they go
you're just
off
getting
fast.
instantly frozen from 30. But maybe that's just because when we've like played Era, there was the batching in there and it made shit feel a bit more clunky. But it's wicked. The trap launchers.
Trap launchers, just wasn't in Era. In combat, you'd have to feign death
like
drop, right?
A trap going off at all, you could step on top of it for like a second before getting frozen.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it,
lightning fast now.
Okay, yeah, now that you mentioned it, I remember that. Well, what about you?
On trying other classes, I did have a warrior and a mage in phase 1, and I played them, and I just said, this sucks compared to rogue. And then I fully invested in the phase 3 rogue. I leveled both of them during Noma when we sucked, going, we're coming back.
See,
they're gonna make this good. I took the gamble.
See, I call like okay, so having a warrior is like having a really fancy car that you keep in the garage. Like, you know, it's not like, first off, it comes, you know, and it's like, it's a, you know, Lamborghini, but it's got normal tires and wheels, nothing racing. It's got a Pinto engine. It's got all this stuff, and you slowly soup it up. But then you don't drive it all of the time because in the open world, it sucks. But when you take it to the track, aka raid, bam, like it's like amazing, right? So that's what I don't like about Warrior. I don't ever feel safe solo out in the world. Like, I feel like a punching bag without a pocket heal. And with Rogue and Hunter, I just don't feel that. I feel completely safe, completely fine. And so that's why I dropped the Warrior, because despite what people think, playing Warrior good is extremely hard. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of looking things up, a lot of knowing exactly what's going on. And yeah, I just don't want to do that. I want to go the easy route. Like this time around, I beat the game basically in 2019 as Warrior. Like, I got everything. So I'm cool doing something else this time.
Fair play.
Mel must have just got home.
Winky, what's going on with you?
To be honest, not much. I've been logging in for raid, and I'll pop on throughout the day and farm some gold. I have a little farm spot over in Fellwood that I enjoy. Meta warlocks are insane, by the way, at just mass pulling open world, and you can just farm, like free farm entire areas, no problem at all. I was watching one of your videos, yeah. So it's been, I made a couple of videos on it. It's been really, really fun, like kind of experimenting with that. But there's just so much to do. I kind of like, I'm feeling like I log in and I almost get stressed out, right? Like, it happened to me all last week. I was going to say, Simonize, you should make a YouTube video, and it should be like an order of operations for once you hit 50. Like make the video and call it like the first thing to do once you hit 50, and like say like, okay, go do this, get your runes, then get your professions, and like in this order, do your wild offerings, right? Because there's so much to do. It stresses people like me out. Retail. Oh yeah, and
like every time there's a patch, it's like, oh, you want to come back and try? Well, you're going to be overwhelmed. You should go and do this, this, and this if you haven't played in 10 years. I feel like I need it because there's just so much with Season of Discovery, and like I'm not as plugged in as I once was to the WoW space. I've been having things kind of pull me away from the computer recently, which is fine. I still love the game, right? And I still want to do the best that I can, and I still want to parse well, and I still want to, perform and things like that. But I just like don't know. It's almost stressful thinking about logging in, because like I don't know how to prioritize what I'm doing. Even the BIS lists are not even accurate half the time.
And like, sure, you have Sims, but that's like BIS of BIS, and there's all these alternative options, and you don't know which ones to prioritize. Even for your second or third BIS, like which ones should I go get first or second? And it's like a nightmare. So I've been logging in and like I've been having a ton of fun doing the wild offerings runs. I really wish they had more wild offerings items or just like cosmetics or something to do after you get, because you know Gamba is cool and all for the cards, but I would like to see more. Like they need to do wild offerings again for next phase and have like a reputation tied to it that unlocks really cool stuff, right? Like that would be sweet.
I feel like all of the different things, like the green stones, right, from doing the nightmare incursions, like give us a way to just be like, just let us pick what rep we want to use for 10 of them. But, you know, same with wild offerings, same with other stuff.
Rip off your own idea, Blizzard. Just throw tabards in for the reputations you won and let people go run dungeons. I don't know, shit. Like, it'd be cool, right?
And it could be one of those things like with the tabards. It could be so minuscule, like do a whole dungeon to get 300 rep of your choice. A lot of the player base would go, that's not enough for me, but that would really entertain the shit out of the guys playing 8 hours a day. They just wear that tabard and just spam dungeons over and over. And there'd be a whole like, you know, how do we just do it the fastest to get as many lockouts as possible for rep and stuff?
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead.
The problem is people optimize some of these wild offering runs so much that they're finishing 5 runs in like 30 minutes, and then they just sit there and it's like, see you guys, let's 30-minute break. We'll go again in 30 minutes. We hit our 5 instances per hour limit.
That's World of Warcraft.
Like they started pulling 10 people into Moradin just to, I don't know, like I was trying to do a Moradin run today, and I first like joined a group that was 10 people, and I was like, do I really want to do Moradin with 10 people? I'm like, no. I left the group. I joined a 5-person group. We cleared it easily, multiple times, and quickly enough with 5 people to like we couldn't do it anymore. But it's just like you can do it faster, and people are just bringing 10 people into Moradin, 10 people into Zul'Farrak to knock these runs out like 2 minutes fast. You know, instead of 8 minutes, 6 minutes.
Yep. And that's classic WoW. That's what people do with World of Warcraft. You know, they see something and then they immediately think of like, how can I exploit something to you? And it's not even really exploit. I shouldn't even say that word. How can I like do this the most optimal way is what they're thinking. And I saw a video the other day that was going around of an Warlock Explorer imp where if you banished the Warlock,
now
you could get infinite bags.
That's an exploit.
Yeah, I mean that is literally infinite gold hack, infinite everything. And
I heard bans got dealt out for that.
Yeah, which is reasonable in my opinion. I think the guy in the clip was even saying like, I don't even care if I get banned. Like I'm just going to do this.
Well, the worst is, so there was a way. You know, I think I heard they fixed it, but I didn't want to do it because it scared me about getting banned. Because when people get banned, they don't give them a reason. Like they just have this vague like reason. So I'm like, well, did they get banned for this? Did they get banned for this? Like I don't know what not to do. And so there was a way to do more than 5 lockouts in dungeons, but I didn't want to try it. Like
you'd hit your lockout, and then all you had to do is log into a hardcore character. Like
that's what I heard.
Exit the client and then log back in, and you could do another 5.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that did get fixed.
Yeah,
and it was so prolific that like prior to it getting fixed, I would be in dungeon groups and I'd be like, nah, I'm just doing my 5 lockouts. I don't want to do this exploit. And then other people in the group would argue with me as to whether this was an exploit. They'd get mad at me for not being willing to do it. Because like, we just got to do more runs. Come on, Simon, just do the thing. It's like,
you're like, bro, I'm too old for peer pressure.
So prolific that people were mad at me for not doing it and not even recognizing that this was in some way like probably not something you should be doing.
It's a wild world. Like Warcraft has always been this way, and it probably always will be.
Yeah.
And they cater. It's the worst game to ever want to work for. Like shout out to Irene, because like I would never want to work for Blizzard, because you can't appeal to. They're like the majority of the player base are people who play with a beer in their hand and hang out and goof around with their guild and stuff. And then there's just like this like extremely loud minority of people that are like, you know, jacked into the matrix, and they're just like chronically online, and like you can't appeal because they both want complete opposite directions for the game to go, you know. Like I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, well,
I want to mention something Winky brought up with like BIS lists and stuff being a bit out of date. Whenever I see that, I think it's a testament to how much there is to do in game that even the content creators are like, I just want to play, fuck updating the info, like the guides are a bit wrong, or they're using like an outdated drop from a boss like it's been moved. They're just out there gaming. They don't have time to give everyone information. Like
if you want like accurate BIS lists, you have to like dive into the class discords and like really figure out stuff. And like I don't have time for that right now. I want to pull up Wowhead and be like, that's my BIS, and like go do it. But you look at it and you're like, yeah, but this is all, you know, I can achieve this if my raid funnels me loot, or like I can achieve this, right?
And then there's
I'm in Simon's disc all the time, and there's guys in there that are like, why hasn't he done this, this, and this? And it's like, have you watched his stream? He's busy. He's busy playing the game. God damn it, he's allowed to play.
I mean,
sorry,
like,
he's not making videos to hand feed everyone everything.
At the phase launch, I streamed through the weekend. Normally weekends are my days off, so you know I put in a 6-hour day from Monday through to the Monday. Then the launch was Thursday, and then all the way to the next Friday, I was streaming every single day and cranking out videos in the evening. And it's like, there's only so much I can do, you know.
Yeah. Well, and then there's items where like a lot of people don't think about this. Like, and Simon usually hits on this, but a lot of the BIS lists don't really hit on things like where this certain item is mostly attack power and is BIS. But if you're in world buffs and you have that extra 8% to stats, it could change some items to actually being more ones with more stat weight being BIS. Like, but people don't think about these things, and there's very BIS-less. Most people, I think, if they know their class, can kind of eye something and be like, okay, I think this is better, and most of the time I think be right for overall, but there's so many intricate parts of BIS lists that people just
there's
don't
definitely
get.
some conditional things like for rugs, they have different helm runes, and if you pick one of the particular helm runes, combat potency, it gives you a chance to generate energy whenever you deal damage with your offhand weapon. So what that means is you have a faster weapon, it's going to give you more energy. And it's like when you're using combat potency, it's like super duper giga important that your weapon is as fast as possible. And like the other stats on it, like completely irrelevant in comparison to its speed. And so like your list of like what's your best offhand and what's your like second or third best options, completely different. Well, not completely, but like very different if you're using combat potency versus if you're using either of the other two helm runes, which are both like, we actually have like 3 good helm runes you can pick from that are
crazy.
Like
it's crazy.
all very
it's
good
cool,
damage.
though,
So it's
that
cool.
It opens like that customization aspect of like, you don't need the, quote unquote, like the end all be all BIS like you did in 2019, right? In 2019, it was like, this is solved. This video game has been solved for 20 years. We are going to be, this is what you want, right? And now it's kind of like, okay, well, you've got these options with these different runes. And then I love the idea that what's in the game currently, at least for warlocks, is there's 2 huge like chase items, right? You've got Blade of Eternal Darkness and then Modus Carcoon. And they're both extremely powerful weapons, and it's something to like, you can just log in and blow 200 hours grinding for this shit because it's so low drop rate, especially Modus, which comes from the Fell Tears, where you send your little imp in, and like the amount of thing, like I want to do that so bad because it looks like it's just mind-numbingly boring. And I'm like a grinder. Like I love just grinding games, right? But I log in and I'm like, okay, I want to go do solo Maradon for 55 hours straight and like try and get Blade of Eternal Darkness to drop. But there's so many other things that I haven't done yet that I need to get done that I can't even do that stuff that I want to do really bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, 55 hours of grinding for this, or I could spend 55 hours doing PvP for my rank 7 gear, or doing X, Y, and Z and doing professions or farming gold so that I can afford to get my tailoring up, because I can't afford to get my tailoring up.
Yeah.
Well, I hate that for rogues with combat potency that's like two of the best options are Julie's Dagger and Shadow Blade, and it makes me kind of think,
gold.
yeah, it's like I don't know if you guys saw Gren's tweet, the whole like, you know, we want to be a bit more open about getting opinions, and I threw like Simon. I use Simon as the example. I'm like, what if, you know, there's a world where you let Simon know in, you know, a disclosed environment, we're getting these. You do the numbers, because the devs don't do numbers like what we do numbers, like as the player base. Let him be a mad scientist, and he'd probably go back and go, yeah, these, like, the runes are fine, but you're going to make us want Julie's Dagger or Shadow Blade because you didn't give us any good low speed daggers in the entire game out of all your options. You keep giving us slow shit, and they'd probably go, oh fuck, all right, we'll throw in a good 1.4 in the game then, because what is it? The level 39 green dagger is like our fourth best option from the last phase. A BOE green is our fourth best option.
Dude, I don't know. Little Birdie might have told me that maybe people have reached out to Simon about Saber Slash.
Yeah. Well, Zari comes into my stream. He asks me stuff every once in a while. I give him my opinion. But aside from that, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I'd like to see it go a little bit further. Maybe you'd never admit to it, but almost like let you math it and go, how much DPS do you want Saber to do? And then you just go back with your spreadsheet and be like, here you go, do this.
I have a question for both of you.
I can make estimates with my spreadsheet, but I also make mistakes with it sometimes. So I don't try to put too much weight. When I try to pull numbers from it, I try to be like, this is an estimate. I think this is how it would work out. I kind of protect myself because it's not, you know, the spreadsheet is the spreadsheet. It's not the game. It does its best to emulate and, you know, estimate DPS, but not the whole way. But yeah, I mean, with Saber Slash, I did see Agren's post saying on Twitter, saying they're like looking to make Saber Slash better, because like all of this phase and all of last phase, when they dropped that Mutilate buff at the start of phase 2, going from 60 energy to 40 energy, they just made Mutilate so much better than the other combo point builder abilities that it's just like, yeah, it's a joke. You wouldn't do anything other than Mutilate. And some people just they want to be a sword rogue, and it's just not really viable damage-wise.
I'm so glad you just said that, because I play my two classes in Vanilla WoW are Warlock and Rogue, because I like I love Warlocks to death, but I also want to do damage sometimes, so I play Rogue. And I don't want to play Rogue in Season of Discovery because I prefer Sword Rogue. Like, I love Sword Rogue. I love the RP of Sword Rogue. I like just run around with a thrash blade on my hip, you know, looking cool, whatever.
Imagine Showbeck.
I can't do that. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so it's like it kind of, and I leveled a Rogue. I just refuse to play it because I'm like, every time I log in, it turns me off looking at daggers, because it's just not my class fantasy for that character.
Well, I think it'd be very cool if they buffed it up to be like competitive with Mutilate. What I hope they don't do is buff it so much that we basically just flip the script, and now it's like, okay, we're back to only doing Saber Slash, and if you're doing Mutilate, you're kind of griefing your damage. I hope they don't. I hope they tune it up a little bit, but not too much.
Well, I have a question hold on. I have a question I want to ask real quick, especially for Simon and Ubi, because you guys are both super sweaty rogues. I'm pretty sweaty, but not good, but sweaty I am. I'm curious for you, if you had a Shadow Blade drop for you, would you sell it or equip it?
I don't know.
I'd sell that shit in an instant.
Yeah, you sell that shit, man.
I'd be like, boom, epic mount for 2 tunes, done.
Like,
I'm on Crusader Strike right now. Let me check the auction house, and it might change my opinion.
I think I checked last night. I think it was somewhere between 2 and 2.5K. I was like, are you kidding me?
There's 4 up for 1,200 gold.
Oh, it dropped. Big time.
I'd probably sell it because like I'm very realistic. 1,200 gold is probably worth more than like the 2 DPS difference between it and another option.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless you're going for like rank 1 parses.
Yeah.
It's not worth buying it at that
price. Shadowblade would be pretty sick for PvP too. I'm not gonna lie. Like it'd be pretty amazing for that too.
I think an item like that, to me, it's not really about the like 5 or 6 DPS better than some alternative that it is. It's if you're gonna buy that for whatever gold, Julie's dagger or Shadowblade, it's about the flex. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about the flex of like, yeah, I got fucking bis without any asterisks, without any like, except for this item that I can't. It's fucking bis, okay?
I see it as
the last part that you need. Like once you get everything else, you're like, all right, it's time.
And I see like, that as different, right? Than Dark Moon card AOE. I forget the name of it. Dune Stack. Like that, I would consider spending a lot on, or slowly collecting the cards or whatever, just because it gives you AoE when you don't have AoE. Like, so that's a huge different thing to help your raid rather than a little itty bitty, DPS upgrade.
Yeah, there's better ways to spend 1,200 gold. Like you could just go, unless you're going full max consumes, it's just consumes that you could buy that would be a bigger upgrade than having Shadowblade. And you'd be at like, just chilly breath the entire raid, every single minute of the entire night, and you'd still save more gold than buying that dumb dagger. And you'd do more damage.
Imagine buying that and not even getting a songflower before raid or something. Like
right?
That's
what you see. That's what you see more often than not.
Yeah, because people buy the gold and then they buy the items and then they're like, okay, I'm good. And then
all right, well, I better move us. We've been going. We're going to need to get into the news here, but I'll really quickly, just 2 things. I've been raiding. I've been doing all kinds of stuff, helping friends with wild offerings, getting my own wild offerings, doing all kinds of stuff, trying to make a proper raid comp, which I'm failing at. I love everybody and don't want to keep anybody out.
We just need more shamans, dude. Like the proper raid comp is 20 shaman.
We need probably 1 or 2 more shamans and a shadow priest, but I've luckily solved the shadow priest problem. I didn't solve it. Hallie solved it for us, so thanks to him. He's already got him 50 and gearing him right as we speak. But weird thing happened. So going to BlizzCon and stuff, like I get recognized, going to Blizzard events, I get recognized. Not like, a Sarth or a Simonize would get recognized, but I get recognized, like it was about 24 people at BlizzCon, right? But I'm at Jimmy John's in Kansas City. Well, Kansas City, but whatever. Like I'm out with lunch because Mel's on jury duty, and a guy walks up to us and goes, "Do you guys make WoW Classic content?" And I was like, yeah." And shout out to Yellow Tonka, who we met IRL at Jimmy John's in our hometown. It was the craziest thing, like just to get recognized in real life. It was cool. So shout out to him. Yeah. Also shout.
It's hard for content creators to get recognized in the WoW space because most people are not the kind of people that would walk up to someone and introduce themselves, let alone be outside at a Jimmy John's.
It was super cool. When he walked in, he looked at me, smiled at me like we knew each other, and I was like, I looked away immediately, like I was like, I don't know. and then when he walked up, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we talked to him for a bit. He was super cool. Like, yeah. So I thought that was
Bob was being the WoW player in this scenario. Made eye contact way. Oh no, don't come talk to me.
Well, I just
social interaction.
Like I know faces, right? Like, and so I didn't recognize him. So like I was just like, but he looked at me exactly like he recognized me, and I was like, and I thought in my head, wouldn't it be funny if he recognized me from the podcast? And it actually was. It was the funniest thing ever. But that's one thing. And then Dude, God, we missed the memo last week. So I did farm, like you get your dungeon to 6 of 8, and I did farming trash all yesterday. I think that they nerfed it to where you can't reset the dungeon. We didn't try just because everybody's getting banned right and left and we don't know what for. But we just came back every 2 hours. And, sometimes we had 3, sometimes we had 4, sometimes we had 6, but we just split the seeds up between. Did that all day yesterday. And I'm close to 1,000 gold richer from just yesterday. And it wasn't all seeds. I did a lot of other stuff too to make a lot of different money, but it was mostly seeds. And the price is dropping, but it seems to have kind of like on Crusader Strike kind of stopped at 7 gold a piece. So I'll probably still be doing that like until we go back Sunday. So I thought that was, if I would have done it last week, it would have been like 23 gold a pop, man. And
Damn, yeah.
I'm spewing. I missed out yesterday. Normally I'm pretty free on my Friday afternoon, and I just had too much shit on yesterday.
Yeah, I was trying to get Winky at all the time.
Clears 6 bosses and then doesn't clear the last 2.
Which breaks rogues' hearts for every rogue knows why.
Yep, that dagger.
I would like to say we did it on purpose in our raid, but we've got some comp issues to fix, and that's on me to fix. So hopefully I'm just going to have to tell people to sit out, and I hate, oh God. The problem is I made a raid with all my friends, and makes it very hard.
It's not too much of a tangent, but it's going to probably be a hot take. I think we're at a point where just trash shouldn't respawn in raids anymore. Like that's a very old school way of just like, oh, we've cleared this place. Look, this massive magma golem just appeared out of thin air. 2 hours later, he's been rebirthed. It's kind of, for me anyway, it's been jarring the whole time. It's like, why does stuff just reappear out of nowhere? Where are they making these guys?
Saved raid ID. Yeah, that is. I think that's a good take actually. Like it. Nothing good comes of that.
Yeah, and like heaven forbid we actually got a raid that was hard enough that you prog so long that you get to the front door after a wipe and go, oh, for fuck's sake, trash again. Like stuff like this.
Well, let
alone how often it's been abused for farming.
I'll say it was not that bad yesterday at all because you do it for 20 minutes, half an hour, then 2 hours. So you're only doing it really every 2 hours. And sometimes you don't get a group going for another half an hour after your 2 hour spot, right? So if I was able to reset it over and over again, I would have hated life yesterday. Instead, I had a blast. Like I went and did it. Was like put the stuff on, saw it sold immediately, was excited while doing other stuff, So I kind of liked the whole coming back, but yeah, you might be right. It might just be a better idea not to have it happen, but I don't know. Kuja in chat really likes that we're farming and bringing the price down.
Yeah, I do appreciate the dumped price.
I feel like they balance the game around trash items that drop off trash things, like the nightmare seeds, etc., that are needed.
Being more
I wonder what. Yeah, I wonder how it would affect the actual meta game if trash didn't ever respawn.
I'm an economic numpty. It's like everyone told me that this incursion gold would break the game, and I logged on today. Mongoose pots are 2 gold. Everyone told me that they'd be 50 gold today, but they're 2 gold. I don't know what's going on. Everything got cheaper while everyone else got richer. So I've given up understanding the auction house. I'm folding. I'm just going to log on and buy my stuff. That's it.
Yeah, it's like prices on big ticket items go up, but consumes go down for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Nope. That's all I had. Let's move on to... Time for the news. All right. So first off...
got 8 news items for us.
Yeah, this first one, I really just have, we don't have time to go over each change to every move, but I wanted to talk about the Druid and see if you guys think with the changes to lacerate rune and everything else, do you think Druids are a valid tank now? Like, do you think like that could be your main tank?
I hope so. We've got a guy that won't play bear, or like he only plays bear. He refuses to do anything else. So I hope that they're getting better. It's just a stubborn big bear.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
I don't
druids,
play
to be honest.
druid.
Okay, well, cool. I
haven't seen any
Table
druid
slam
tanks in
seems to
most of
think.
SoD.
yeah, I haven't either.
We had a druid tank when we'll get to this. I saw it's later in the podcast. We had a druid tank for righteous orb farming, and apparently they just don't take damage. They have a very high damage mitigation, but I don't know, if they can't hold threat, then it's not really relevant. I think this lacerate change helps them do more threat, so good. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
You still only have like a 3 target cleave, you know, like I mean, there's so. The Shami is so good, like tanking. It's absolutely out of this world. The difference between having a Shami or any of the other tanks, it's just not fair. Just not
Yeah,
fair.
if you're listening to this and you play Alliance only, I encourage you, play Horde for like a day. Make a Shaman, and it's like get experience Shaman right now before SoD ends, because you're missing an era of Shaman gameplay.
Yeah. Well, that was all I really wanted to hit on that one. We don't, getting into the different changes to classes, like we'd have to. I mean, I guess we could hit on the rogue one, but it's kind of weird for, lots of people pretend they know everything, but most of us sweaties know a ton about our classes, but not as much as you would think about other classes. So. What do you think of the focused attacks changing to 3? I know you were going to test that a day or two ago, Simon. Did it work out?
Yeah. I mean, I did big pog damage. I did a bunch of damage, except for the time I fell in the hole. I didn't do much damage that time, but that wasn't really related to my Helm rune choice. Yeah. I mean, focus attacks when it came out, it was 2 energy per. And it competed with combat potency and honor among thieves in the Helm rune slot. And it's just like it almost didn't matter how much critical strike chance you got. The like amount of critical strike you would need to make that compete with those other 2, it's just like unobtainable. So it was basically a dead on arrival rune at 2 energy. Now at 3 energy, it's like, okay, if you're super duper geared, you have your world buffs, consumes, and reasonably good party buffs, you can get your critical strike chance up high enough that you might actually want to use this rune. But outside of that, like really geared, really buffed, high critical strike chance situation, you go back to the other 2. And I think that's actually great. And that's perfect. It should be a decision whether you use the rune or not, rather than just being like it was before, where it's just like, why even pick this rune up?
It's actually absurd how good all of the head runes is. It compared to all the classes across the game. I swear we've got a rogue in the dev team that just like we seem to be getting love. Like our runes where we have to go into to ZF to Scarlet Monastery to, like all 3 of those, it's like telling a whole story. You're going in like mission impossible, doing an actual rogue missions. Like it's fucking cool. Like there's got to be a rogue.
The solo stealth missions in the dungeons have been some of the best stuff they've added for rogue. It's so flavorful. It's so fun. It's like you're going into the dungeon and it's like, it's normal dungeon mobs. If they see you, they will kill you. If you're, appropriate level. So like you have to actually do a stealth mission, and it's really, it's so fun.
Dude.
Really, really love the Shadowfang Keep one for Deadly Brew, Scarlet Monastery for Shadow Step, and the Zul'Farrak one was damn cool too. That was for Honor Among Thieves.
Mm-hmm. The The Scarlet Monastery one, I did it on stream, and I was not ready when I equipped the disguise. I looked at myself with the mask.
It looks kind of.
I giggled out loud for like a good 10 minutes. Just like it kept like creeping up on me. I'd be sitting there fine for a second. I just start laughing again because it's so funny. Oh my God. I don't know why it was so funny, but it was great. Yeah.
To be honest, I've done. Oh, go ahead.
I just on the focused attacks. It's most exciting because it kind of gives rogues a little hint of the warrior life in that we're gonna ramp up with it. It gets more and more powerful when we're in full level 60 gear and we've got like, I don't know, 15% more base crit than now. That just makes that rune more and more powerful. So it'd be cool to see where it ends up by like Nax, and like, you know, we'll probably have 100% mutilate crit chance in deep Nax if gear stays similar to what we expect and stuff like that. So that's just a permanent 6 energy cheaper or something like that on mutilate. So it'll be cool. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, well, okay, so the next one is just to kind of let people know. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Sarth did put out a video about it and then a video about them nerfing it. But there was this there is a trinket you get at Egg Exalted with the Nightmare Incursion faction, and it allows you to pick like herbs that you can't that are like alchemy herbs, but you're not picking like regular alchemy herbs, and it was giving like crazy like blue and epic loot. So whoever got in on this early, yeah, I haven't heard too much about it. I heard it got nerfed. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about this. I don't have much.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
It was absolutely insane when it first came out. I think I saw some guildies in our guild saying like that they technically made 20k gold in like half a day because of the items that they. It was like
those 2k blues, like it's nuts.
Yeah, it was. I think Sarth said in the video in 1 hour they saw like 4 epics and 8 blues in 1 hour. Like,
and this is from picking herbs. Like,
it's from picking different herbs. It's different herbs you can only see and pick if you have the thing.
Oh,
yeah. So you get exalted with the Emerald Wardens. They sell you a special trinket called a Nightmare Resonating Crystal, and it's kind of vague reading the item description. It just says the crystal resonates in response to the nightmare. It doesn't really tell you what it does. Apparently, what it does is it allows you to interact with special nodes within the nightmare that are called resonating nightmare blooms. And these are just like lootable objects that you can only loot if you have this thing equipped. And like they drop some herbs, and then they apparently had a pretty high drop chance for BOE blues and epics, world drop things, you know, your Julie's dagger, your skull splitting crossbow, your precisely calibrated boomstick, shadow blade, whatever.
That's wild.
Yeah,
it's a cool prospect that it gives those hectic items, but I think it got nerfed from like the nodes respawning every 6 minutes, and they nerfed it to like 60 minutes. Like it got nerfed a shitload because they were just getting way too much stuff. My personal herbalism bias is that it shouldn't give them herbs, but it is what it is, all right? Let me pick the flowers. I'll be the supply and get rich.
Yeah. Well, it's not the only thing to give herbs. Some mobs drop herbs and stuff like that, but yeah, it was, I feel bad for the people that watched Sarth's video and then spent 12 hours doing it just to have it nerfed 12 hours after Sarth's video. So just remember, when watching Sarth's videos, the devs watch Sarth videos like when they come out, like they click that bell. So like just be ready for, you know, that's why I had a friend that was like, he's actually in chat, Black Reaper. He's like, let's go. I was like, dude, it's going to get nerfed. I got too much other shit I got to get done. I'm sorry. But if you get 4 more people, or 3 more people, I will come. I'll warp to you. But he never answered me back.
all you Americans are dropping new sweaty tech, and I'm just at like 2 hours into my 10-hour shift at work going, well, that's nerfed before I get home. Then I'll still watch the video. I just watch it and listen at work going, oh, well, FOMO.
Look, the Crusader orbs took like 48 hours from when I made a video before that got nerfed.
Well, that's up there in that. Watched it. I said, good on you guys. Not doing it.
Same.
Not for me.
That's what I did. I saw everyone there and I was like, not going to do that. I'm okay.
Here, for the sake of transition, that's down the list. Let's just jump to that. So righteous orbs no longer dropping in Season of Discovery Phase 3. If you tuned into last episode, we talked about this, and I talked about how it's going to get nerfed. It's going to get nerfed fast Monday, like maybe even early in the morning. I did think maybe it would be nerfed in the way that they would have all the people in northern Western Plague Lands dropping orbs, and like there'd just be a lot more like mobs dropping orbs. One mob dropping it. I knew they were going to fix it. I didn't get in on any of the runs because I knew it was going to happen. A lot of people were pissed. No Hit Jerome was the most entertaining, angry at it. And he just made great content out of it. Like, I don't even think he was actually that angry. Like but it was wonderful. Like it was absolute gold. But yeah, I knew they were going to like nerf this. And if they didn't, it would have made a lot of shit not fun for most rogues, and especially warriors. Like warriors, it just would have made it not fun for ones that couldn't get in on this. And this is speaking from somebody who's in a guild who, if I put in enough time, I could have gotten one. Like, so yeah, I just didn't think it was a good thing for the game at all. But what do you guys think?
I think it should have stayed. That's just I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I like the idea that there's incredibly rare items in the game that are incredibly good for your character that you can put a lot of time and money into and grind out. I mean, look at Edge Masters, right? This is something that isn't new. It's something that is borderline required if you play a warrior that isn't a human in classic WoW. And it's extremely rare drop rate, and not everyone got them. And I mean, you
can't even with Edge Masters, like that's a world drop that you could barely even say you can target farm that. Yeah. Like with these righteous orbs, you can there's a specific mob you go to that drops the thing to get the thing.
Well, I think it's incredibly classic WoW. Yeah. When there's something that drops off of one mob and it's the phase before it should be dropping, so all these people gather together and they go there and they try and get it. Like, I think there's something really cool about that. And from like a numbers standpoint, I can see why Bob would want it removed, right? Like I could see why the people who care about parsing and things like that would be like, well, this is just inherently not good now because I have to do this in order to keep up with all the damage. Yeah. I'm not sure if we could be said about Edge Masters.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we really explained it here. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, there's an enchant in the game called Crusader. It gives you a chance on it to give you a bunch of strength for temporary bonus. It's a very powerful weapon enchant, especially for the classes that care about strength. And like you can get the formula and you can get one of the materials rather easily, but one of the other materials needed is called a righteous orb. And normally this comes from the Stratholme dungeon, which is a level 60 dungeon, but that's locked off. We can't go into it. But players discover that there is one singular mob that spawns out in the world that is accessible, that has a 2% chance to drop a righteous orb when you kill it. It's like a level 60 elite. We're capped at level 50. So you need a squad of people to take it out, or some like really clever kiting strategies. So like that's the only way to access the Crusader enchant is farming that one particular mob for the 2% chance to see a righteous orb drop off of it. So it's absurd. But I put some hours in with my guild, like before it got nerfed. We were farming it. We brought a squad of 10 people out there roughly, and we just camped the spawn. It respawns every like 3 minutes if you kill it and the guards around it. And we were setting up like logging hours, and like every time we'd get 2 orbs for an enchant, the plan was to then give the enchant to whoever had logged the most hours at that point. So we had a reasonably fair, distribution. But it got nerfed to no longer drop before we ever completed 1 enchant worth of orbs.
Yeah, it was actually an abnormally fair way that Swamp was going to do it. But Most people don't have access to that type of firepower.
I would think that like if you're asking people, like I've figured out the math. Like if we're killing it once every say 4 minutes and a 2% drop, we need to farm that mob for about 6 hours 40 minutes to get on average 1 Crusader enchant worth of orbs, and then that's 10 people doing that. So the total hours is like 66 hours 40 minutes
for 10
those
people.
Divided across those 10 people per enchant. So if you thought you wanted to like put in enough effort to to say like, okay, it's fair, I've put in enough effort to earn one of these enchants now, that's 66 hours of gameplay, okay, that you would put in. That's a week and a half of work. That's a bit much.
What I would have rather, because the argument against this is that it's not fun because if you want to parse, there's people with Crusader in your raid.
Yeah.
Right. So arguably, I would have rather seen Blizzard do nothing about it, leave it in the game, let people get it. And if Warcraft log just said, if you have this enchant, your log is invalidated, no one would run it anyway. Yeah. Like not a single person
would did that.
Farming that.
They did bring in that rule and it got nerfed anyway. Mm-hmm. Well, it still stands because some people did get the enchant. So
yeah, and it's just funny though that Blizzard had to step in and change it when all that needed to happen was Warcraft logs saying like, hey, this isn't going to count. And then no one cares about it anyway because they don't care about their parses.
That's the effect. Yeah.
One of the best things to come out of it though was when the Alliance tried to take Swamp's spawns, and Bobka gets, raid of 40, and then I think another raid of some amount, and everybody goes out there and they're just massacring the Alliance, and Bobka's yelling on stream, make sure teabag them. I mean, it was great. That part was great. I'm sad I wasn't online to actually go, participate in that part, because I would have been there in a second for that.
Is it me, or is Jerome straight up always the one that's leading these like phase in advance rep farms and like the quote unquote illegal farms that Jerome likes doing? It's always...
He loves a bunch of those, but I gotta take credit on this one. Okay. Jerome and the other people of the guild, they were off farming Argent Dawn rep, okay, to get some lame strength food or enchant. I don't know. Who cares?
Sun fruit, yep.
Okay. And I was on about this, this Crimson Courier mob to get my righteous orbs. And I was like trying to pull the mob away from the guards and figure out how I could possibly even kill this thing. And, I eventually successfully separated the mob from the guards, because the guards, like, I wasn't going to be able to, like, I didn't have 10 people with me at this point. I needed to do that to be able to kill it. And then, like, I couldn't call in any reinforcements. I just had to kite this mob. I could perpetually kite it, but I couldn't kill it. So that I told my stream chat to go type to some other people to call in the reinforcements. And then we brought some people over while I was just like kiting this mob in a circle for like 5 minutes while everyone else came to Eastern Plaguelands. And then I got a couple of people there. We managed to take it down. And then I was like, okay, this is real. We can kill this mob. We can get Crusader orbs. And then Jerome was on it. Okay. Then everyone was on it.
I love that. That's such a classic WoW moment, right? Like that's why we play MMOs. It's like for things like that, right? That's fun when you're like, or when you get wiped trying to farm that, and then you sound the horn of Gondor and Bob shows up with his chat, right? Like that is part of the best. That's my favorite part of playing an MMO.
Absolutely.
So those parts are neat.
To see him keep it in the game.
I mean, honestly, I just thought they were going to just make more mobs drop them, and then it still would have been that type of war.
One way they could do it, like the elites over at Tier's Hand, they could like make those guys drop it too. But I guess their decision to make it not available keeps some excitement in and progression in for next phase, right?
True.
So like you get Crusader next phase, right? Like instead of already having it now.
Well, hey, we might have a better enchant than Crusader next phase. Yeah, we don't know. Like there might be some crazy weapon enchants.
Yeah, phase 4 will drop and professions can go up to like 350 and all our mines will just be fucking blown
Oh
apart.
man, yeah.
Everyone that's just stopped at 250 will be so mad instead of going to 300 now.
Yeah, I think you absolutely, like, if you're trying to prepare for next phase, get your professions 300 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get your professions up and hold on to some things that you probably wouldn't normally hold on to. You never know what items are going to be useful, especially with there's already been new recipes in the game for professions as it is. So
I didn't mind that Crusader was feasibly possible. I think it's almost not a bad thing that there's just absolute time sinks like that where a casual player can look at it and go, you guys are crazy. I'm so happy I don't have to do that. Go blow your 66 hours. And it will almost make me like the game more, knowing that someone has put in themselves through that misery that I'm opting out of. I think sometimes the game needs a couple of those to entertain that
casual
top
player.
2%.
You can go gank the people that are farming that for your 40 minutes a day if you want to, right? You can log in and make fun out of it, right? Like
how cranky they would be getting, you would be cackling yourself knowing that they're screeching about you inconveniencing them for 5 minutes.
The courier spawns, you ambush their healer, knock out their healer. That courier, like if they've got just like 8 or 9 or 10 people, like losing their healer means the courier and their guards is probably going to wipe them. Like it's a serious business mob. You might be 1 versus 10 players, but you kill the right person, you can cause big trouble.
Dude, some of the funnest things in the game are just wacky things. At least for me, like I was in a group of 4. We were doing stuff, but Mel and 2 other people, friends, needed to get a Songflower. I had it booned already, so I was just messing around in Felwood while they were looking for one to do. And there was a group of 2 mages and a lock. And I just, for 10 minutes, like they were trying to travel up the road for 10 minutes, I'd sap one. They'd look for me everywhere. They'd wait for their friend. And I'd sap another one again. They'd wait for their friend. Everybody go. Not once did they put on their PvP trinket. It cracked me up. Like none of them must have had. But I sapped each of them, at least 3 times, and just kept them for 10 or 15 minutes while I was waiting on Mel to do something. It was brilliant. So funny.
I mean, I watched Bobka the other day camping Deadwind Pass and just staying in stealth, distracting people off of the bridge for hours.
Distract is the best, dude.
It's great.
It's hilarious.
The people that are going to the elevator from Southern Barrens into Thousand Needles, you can distract them straight off. Oh, it's great.
I'm pretty sure I get distracted when I'm doing incursions, because it's been millions of times I've thought I walked out, but I'm still in the green place. I'm almost positive it's rogues.
My favorite is in Booty Bay, because like now I think people know about it because enough people do it. But like you think you're in Booty Bay, you got these high level neutral guards. No one's gonna mess with you, right? Like there's not gonna be any PvP in Booty Bay. People know better now, but like you can, there are people. Someone's walking towards the boat close to the edge of the dock.
Oh, no.
You distract them off. They go into the water. They miss the boat. It takes too long to get back up.
Yep.
And the guards don't care. They don't attack you for distracting someone.
There's so almost funny. There's like the Booty Bay meta where everyone's really on their toes in front of the boat now. So I've started to get them at the Ratchet dock because that's right when they relax. And even though it's a much shorter swim, it's not a huge inconvenience. You just know that they're like, fuck, should have paid attention right to the end. So
yeah. Okay, so for anyone trying to not get distracted, what you have to do is you have to make sure you're walking in the middle of the dock, right? So there's maximum distance between you and the ledge, so that when you get distracted and it turns your character 90 degrees, you have the biggest amount of reaction time to stop holding W. If you're right next to the edge, walking along, trying to like take that shortest path, ooh boy, I'm in stealth, mousing over that distract about to get you.
It's so funny. Oh man,
toxic.
Yeah, it happened. I'm trying to think of where it happened to me, and it really fucked me. I can't remember, and I was like, "Oh, you bastard!" I can't remember where it was though, but it did waste a lot of my time.
What's your guys' favorite rune in the game right now?
Favorite rune? Well,
damn.
Because I have a clear favorite, and I was wondering if I'm weird for that or if that's like a thing people have.
I do have a favorite, but it's just for PvP. Like I never use it in PvE. But it's
What is it?
it's between the eyes. Like I love the fact
solid
that
rune.
I could hit a rogue in evasion with stun. Like, you know, because you can't dodge or parry
because they're stunned.
Yep. Like I mean, I love it, and I think it's slept on a lot by a lot of people, but wouldn't use it all at all in raid.
Dude, I'm telling you, Immolation Aura is broken. Actually, a broken rune.
Guards don't kill you for that either.
Oh, fucking hell.
Guards don't kill you for that. It doesn't flag you for PvP if you're on a PvE server. You don't have to get off of your mount, and you can indefinitely kite mobs and just do damage to them.
They made it not make noise now, right?
It still makes noise.
No, I think I thought they hotfixed it because that was the most annoying thing.
I think it makes
and you'd hear the ticking of it. But I saw a hotfix and they said that it shouldn't make noise to other players. Or some shit now.
I think it's just other players.
There you go.
It's just like
I still hear it.
Just make it not tick in or make it aggro people. Make them turn it off. It's so annoying.
I'm trying to find ways to exploit the game with Immo Aura. There has to be some kind of crazy like mob pathing tech that you can use for giant AoE pulls. Because it's literally just free damage for standing around. Like I wanted to get 40 warlocks together, have them all turn it on, and just slow like RP walk through a PvP zone. And you just destroy people just by standing there. It's nuts.
Yep. What about yours, Zuby? Simon?
It's a very, very vicious love-hate relationship with Honor Among Thieves. It can feel so good. And then, like, I had it the other night, and I forgot to change it once the raid lost pop-ups. Bruh, I had to wait, like, 7 GCDs to get 1 point at some stage, and I immediately, like, got rid of it after that attempt. I think we're wiping on Shade or something, and I was like, nah, it's garbage. Because right when you're just like, oh, I'll get a point, it'll come soon. The little clown meme of just, the point's coming. I'm going to get 5 points soon. And I'm like almost capping energy.
But then
so frustrating.
You almost get mad at your teammates who die. You're like, dude, you died. What the fuck?
I'm looking around like, are you guys not pressing buttons? Why am I not getting points?
It's the worst feeling when you got Honor Among Thieves rune and like your teammate dies to acid rain that they could have walked out of. And now, not only is that teammate dead, that's not important. That teammate is no longer providing you combo points. Okay?
Yeah, but I used to just care about the druid or the shaman going down, right? Like, but now I'm
it's
like,
everyone.
Ugh. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
It's right up the alley of rogue where we're a bunch of selfish assholes, and it's like, come on, party, help me, do more, use your abilities.
Well, so there's a lot of people standing and stuff. I noticed the other day. Like, dude, GTFO is not working for almost anything in Sunken Temple. And I'm just like, this is why, so many people are used to that add-on screaming at them when they're standing in goo. And now, like, they're not getting that. So, like, they're trained for that sound. It's, it's like, it's an add-on that, like, a lot of people, I think, have gotten, like, completely dependent on.
Yeah.
All right, well, for the next thing, this is just kind of to let people know, because I think a lot of people like don't know even about these. So in the raid, you have these different Mojo flash drop, and it's just an item that you could turn in. But you go to ZG Island to turn this in. There's 3 different flasks. They last for 2 hours. They do not persist through death. But before you could only carry one. You could drink one and then buy another one, just like the Zanzas at level 60. But now you could drink one and carry 2 if you want. So they're unique too. So you could actually carry 2 of them, which is kind of cool. But I just basically wanted to let people know that these are there. I've talked to people and they don't even know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Just so much of the player base just seems to be stumbling through SoD. Like, we'd all been level 50 for a week, and we were in our second Sunken Temple, and I'm like, this turns into a consumable, and we've had like 40 drop. Everyone come get one. And they just come and trade one, and they're like, what do I do with it? And I'm like, Go Google it.
Dude, Ubi,
Go
it's
Google it.
because of what you said. So many content creators have dropped off making content about SoD because I'm guessing, but I don't know. I think it's just because they're not sure about everything. Like, and they're just like, they're not telling everybody about all these extra things. Like, and I consume a ton of content, and there's a huge drought, like with each phase, like, and they're playing, like, it's not like they're not playing. I think it's just, they can't research, what happened back in the day and stuff like that. Like it's hard to make content right now.
Yeah, I know I really don't like it when I like put a lot of work into making a video quality thing, and then like either I make some mistake because I didn't thoroughly test every single detail, so like some details a little bit off, or like Blizzard goes and changes something that then makes one of my, one segment of the video like irrelevant or incorrect. Is like I always feel bad because like I don't want my videos out there with like incorrect or outdated information, and at the rate things change, it's almost like I don't want to make anything because it's going to change, and then like the video is going to be dead. It's like I've some of my videos I'd like literally just taken them down because the whole like premise of the video got like changed, so then it's like it's completely invalidated.
Yeah, and it's like you always have to have a disclaimer on top of everyone. Things might have changed, grain of salt, like, make sure it hasn't changed. And I dealt with that a little bit in 2019. Like I was trying to mage farm and I was looking up all kinds of videos. There were all kinds of ones from private servers that did not have proper moves on the mobs. Like say in BRD, I was supposed to be able to do this farm, but these mobs net. But they didn't net on the private server that the content creator made the stuff on, so, and it's probably, they didn't know, like, it's not really their fault, but yeah, it does kind of suck with that because of how often stuff changes.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, there's maybe because everyone, like, SOD's been so easy to literally not even look shit up and just kill the content and stuff, that people are missing the little bits like that information. And even the panic afterwards when it's like, oh, it's a consumable, and they're all like, oh, I need to get one. And it's like, man, they're already like 3 gold. Like, just buy it like any other pot. You don't.
Yeah.
It's like try and sort it out so that I just randomly pass them out to raiders, and people are like, oh, I haven't got one yet. It's like, mate, it's cheap. Just you go do your research and come more prepared next week.
Yep. Yeah, that's our raid. Just lets everybody just loot the greens haphazard because I'm like, I'm not collecting all that stuff. That is crazy. Like, I'm not going to master loot all of that to myself.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, but the next thing is just to let people know, just like engineering, where there was a change to engineering we talked about before, where you could be both, do a quest, you could be both goblin and gnomish. Well, they've made a change to alchemy. Alchemists can now become masters of transmutation or masters of mixology. And I believe what this is just like, kind of like did it come in TBC or did it came in TBC, where you could pick either transmutation or mixology, and then you had a chance to make 2 or 3 when you were making just one. Like you would make bonus ones. So looks like that's the game now. Oh, up to 5.
Yeah, I think it's just nice to see these little buffs to the professions, to be honest, and it makes it a little bit more engaging. And what's the negative effect of this if all the alchemists can do both? Just like how engineering can have both now. Like, I don't think there's anyone that's going to quit the game over things like this, but there's a lot of people that it will make happy. So it's a net positive in my books.
Yep. Chad says buff gathering professions, but I don't know, man. I get a lot of stuff extra. Well, not on skinning, but I get a lot of stuff extra mining. I don't herb, so I don't know what you guys are getting, but I get like, like fires. I get all kinds of like elemental earths, like all kinds of different things from mines.
I think we'll see what they end up doing at 60. That's probably where I'm most interested about gathering and what you can get from it. But I get elemental fires and stuff, and it's nice. It's like a little bit more money, but it's nothing to really get that excited about. But I'm gonna assume that we get the SOM change. Like, is Black Lotus just gonna drop from Mountain Silver Sage
I
and
assume
Plague
so.
Bloom? And it's not yet. Like, they've blocked it, that it's not happening.
Yeah.
And like that alone, I reckon that alone would keep Herbers happy to get Black Lotus off all the nodes. So
Yep. Yeah, I remember. It's so funny. I can count on one hand the amount of Black Lotuses I found in 2019's vanilla, and it's 2.
Not many.
I was a bit of a herb baron. It's all I pretty much did outside of raid. So I thoroughly enjoyed fighting bots for those nodes.
Unless they were underground, which was happening at least towards the latter half.
Hard to kill a hunter that's 10 yards under the floor.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody would give me shit. I was like, I just don't see bots, and I was telling the truth because they're underground. I didn't see them. Like,
literally underground. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well,
there is no better PvP than fighting an actual another player on top of a Black Lotus node. That does get the heart rate up a little bit, I must say.
Oh, I did that many times. Unfortunately, I was a warrior, but I did that many times in 2019 Classic, and it was for thorium veins, though, like rich thorium.
I still vividly remember Tyrannius, if you're out there, Human Pally. We dueled for like 12 fucking minutes. He used layer hands. I was a prep rogue. We did the tango for 12 minutes amongst mobs. And I beat him I eventually killed him and got the node, and he killed me on sight for the next like 4 years. And I'm pretty sure it was from that one node for sure.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
For a node, don't ever fight a shadow priest, because what's going to happen is you're going to kill him, and then you're going to die of dots after, and then he's going to make it back to the node. So might as well just let him have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad. So sad. Yeah. I liked you were talking about it, I think, on Countdown to Classic, Ubi. No, it was Bobka on with you, Simonize, on SARS podcast, Classic Life. And Bobka was either Bobka or you saying that for PvP and stuff, Cloak would be too powerful, but to make Vanish in like a rune that it made Vanish drop all dots, and I don't think he said bleeds, but drop all dots would be a fair exchange. I still want Cloak, but Cloak would be massive for tanks in different fights.
There's that disgusting tank tier set that they leaked. The set bonus was like 90% less magic damage taken after vanishing for 5 seconds, and it's like, oh god, all the rogues are going to wear tank tier for PvP. It's going to be ridiculous.
But then your vanish, I think the way it was worded, it said your vanish doesn't put you in stealth.
Nope, it doesn't.
So
I think it would
you don't get your extra stealth openers. I don't know if that's good or not, but it seems like I like vanish cheap shotting people.
It would be it'd be a different way to play rogue. I think the tank rogues might surface a tanking PvP rogue, kind of like a shield warrior PvP build. It'd just be a different play style, which would be fun to mess with. But I'm with you, Simon. I like the old fashioned, but I'm always sad to try something new. Like shield. Like PvP as a shield warrior in Wrath was pretty fun. I only did it a little bit, like in BGs, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah. I'm open-minded to them. I'm not one of those people that gets upset when they change things or it might be a mistake. It's why I'm liking SoD more than I'm probably not going to play Kata, because no one can tell me what's going to be good in 5 weeks from now. And even if it's shit or a mistake or wrong or overtuned, it's more fun and engaging than Mage's Abyss Phase 2 Kata or whoever's going to be meta. Like, just being told what's good forever kind of got a bit boring. So
that definitely got old fast. And like oh my god, the private, you had people arguing like, oh, the private server, the meta is this, they've been doing it for years, they must be right. Oh, the simulator said this. Oh, this from 2008 said this, and like the whole thing being basically scripted already and known already made it way less exciting. And one thing that I had to do, like in TBC, I was writing boss guides for Wowhead. So before a phase came out, what I ended up having to do is I had to go back, find like 240p YouTube videos of these boss kills to figure out what they're doing, delve through all these old posts, figure out which one is updated, which one's current, figure out all these boss strategies, boil it into a guide before the content even came out, because the information was available. So of course we're going to make make the guide before it comes out. And it was just such a, I don't know, it was such a grueling process. I said, like, I'm not doing the boss guides for when Wrath comes out. It's that thing of like, it's all there already, makes it less exciting.
I think that's what burnt Jordy out, right? Like, he'd make those awesome boss guides, but he was watching old school footage from elitist jerks kills. I mean, it was crazy, what he had to do to like prepare for that. And then 80, 120 hours in every PTR. I mean, I can't even imagine doing that. And I miss him. But okay, so the next thing is, are players receiving less raid loot in Season of Discovery? People are asking this question because they did up the drops, but they also doubled the raid size. So,
and doubled the lockout timer.
Yep. So
as a factual matter, yes, you're receiving less loot drops per week.
They said that they wanted to ramp it up, and I just don't think that they did the basic math of like, oh, doubled the loot, the lockouts doubled, and the player base is doubled. So it's like, okay, we're the same as. I must say, the loot table is at least less congested than BFD with either garbage or like, if you looked at the last 4 bosses and you specifically needed your tier chest, it was like a 2% chance to specifically get your tier chest, or not 2%, but like 10% or whatever. It was pretty niche. So the tokens have fixed it a bit, but when they said you're going to have loot falling out your ass, I was thinking that the bosses were going to drop like 10 pieces each.
Well, do you think maybe what they meant was you're going to have all these other places to go get really comparable loot, sometimes BIS, oftentimes second BIS in dungeons
outside of the raid? Yeah, I don't think that I think they said we're gonna adjust the drop so it's comparable, and I don't think they delivered on that. I mean, they roughly doubled the drops. I think it's a little shy of doubling the items per boss, and then they doubled the lockout time, and they doubled the number of players. So the amount of loot that each player sees each week is roughly cut in half compared to Nomer.
I think they might have made it a little too easy to get a full tier set, a full 3-piece set. I mean, like we didn't even finish the dungeon in our 2 lockouts, and I mean, I think pretty much almost everybody is at least 2 of 3 or 3 of 3. I mean, with and nothing's going to waste really as far as tier goes. And so I feel like tier is just going to be like not even a factor after 4 lockouts for almost anybody if you've done 4 lockouts.
Yeah, I mean, the tier tokens are very generous. I mean, I think that can be said that the number of items dropping per player per week is approximately cut in half. But like, I don't know, for Rogue, like you need like the 3 tier pieces, a weapon, and then like there's a couple of side grade pieces that are kind of irrelevant if you get them or not. There's not that many items you actually need from the raid. So I think people will despite getting, half as much loot, I think it's not that hard to gear up a rogue at least. I don't know how many items from raid other classes need. But like if it's not very many items you actually need, then it's kind of fine.
I think casters, this is what people have told me. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I just look into my characters. That's already a lot to look into. But I think they were saying like the caster items, or maybe it was heal. I don't know if it was DPS caster or healing caster, saying a ton of them are in Sunken Temple and not in the other spots. Which, if that's true, that sucks. Because then, how do you get a healer to come on your dungeon runs, or how do you get casters to come on your dungeon runs and stuff? So
I think it's the other way. I think casters, like, how many bosses are in there? 8. I think they're like 5 of the 8 don't even drop an upgrade or something ridiculous.
Really? Okay, well then maybe I'm talking to the wrong person. I don't know. Tell us in the comments.
I read it somewhere. It was one way or the other. Like, casters are like they might have a few bits, but like some of the bosses just literally drop nothing. Like, they don't care if you're killing it or not, or at least that's what one of my guildies said. So
yeah, see, I'm going about what my guilders said.
The only big caster upgrades are off the last 2 bosses, other than your 2 gear, of course. But
yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's in my opinion can vary depending on how long the phase is going to last as well. Like, I'm getting enough loot if we're going to do this 16 times, but I'm probably not if we're going to do it 8 and then phase 4 drops. But depends on the phase length.
I really hope the phase is a little longer. Like, I thought 8 was a little rough. All right, well, let's go ahead and move past that. Oh, okay. I'm going to skip the Tauren Paladins conversation. Let's do.
We already talked about the righteous orbs. Okay, yep. I'm looking at the list.
Oh, this one's kind of interesting. Like the one rune that you do for wild offerings is it gives some interesting gear that, like, on some classes, like, changes complete like buffs moves. Like the Filcher's Cowl on the rogue.
Oh, yeah. That's not for the wild offering one. It's
not for the wild offering?
Yeah. This is a different quest for each class. They have some really unique items. Like the Filcher's Cowl you were talking about. +3 stealth levels, so you're less likely to be detected in stealth. Increases a range of disarm trap and range of pickpocket by 2 yards, and the range of distract by 5 yards. So it, like, makes all your, like, stealthy rogue things way better.
Yep.
And when you're pickpocketing, being able to be changing it from like a 5-yard range to a 7-yard range, it actually makes it so much easier to pickpocket a bunch of mobs if that's what you want to be doing.
Yep.
So a very unique item.
PvP is pretty sick. Like, it's crazy how high stealth you can get now, which in turn makes it so much easier. You go PvP spec and you go this, and you can pretty much pickpocket any dungeon that you can get into right now. It doesn't matter if they're 4 levels, 5 levels over you. It's crazy. But then there's the other ones. I don't know if anybody wants to point out any of the other ones. Is the Warlock one any good? It looks kind of lackluster to me for a trinket, but
it's mid. The problem with Warlock trinkets is it seems like what's simming the best right now is the blood token, or the one from blood tokens in STV or level 40, because of the stam and on your pet is insane when you mix that with, I think it's demonic tactics, or demonic knowledge, because it just gives you just flat spell damage in your trinket slot. So the idea is that if you can buff your pet with int stam, 10% of whatever your int and stam is combined, you get that amount of spell power.
Okay.
And it's ridiculous. So like you'll see warlocks saying, "Yo, priests and mages, like, buff my pet before the pull." You've got people are bringing scrolls for their imps, and that trinket just flat out gives your imp 100. Right, it gives you 20 stam and 80 int on your imp, which is
what? Wait,
absurd.
Look at this.
Yeah, so it's called Infernal Pact Essence. It's your pet gains 20 stam and 80 int, no matter what pet you're using.
Oh,
and then you can
you
can use it for a little bit of an AoE, which is just another perk. So out of that, you end up getting 10 spell power in a trinket slot, and your pet has more ammo, because right now they have broken warlocks. Your imp actually does 50 more DPS, which is 50 DPS is a huge damage increase. If you downrank Firebolt. So people that didn't train their imps upgraded fireball actually are doing 50 DPS more. And the only way to get around it, if you did buy the Grimoire, because there's no way to downrank imp spells, is you have to tie in a slash pet attack macro with the specific rank of fireball and spam it on whatever your most spammed ability is, which is for the most part incinerate.
Oh,
And it's the lower rank one is better. What? Because it costs less mana.
Because it
Basically,
costs less
and
mana.
you don't run out of mana.
So it costs less mana, and the more fireballs your imp can send in one fight is better for you in regards to your waste rune. So your waste rune is Grimoire of Synergy. So the idea is that there's a proc chance when your demon deals damage that it increases your damage by 25%. And then when you deal damage, you can proc your pet to do 25% additional damage.
Okay, so you want that pet to just keep chugging damage the whole time to keep procking that.
Yeah, so they've
running out of mana, very bad.
Yeah, they have this build. It's called the Machine Gun Imp, and that's like the highest DPS Destro Warlock right now. And it's so stupid that you have to downrank your Fireball and your Imp. But it's also really, I think it's a pretty cool interaction. And I wish I had known because I accidentally trained IMP before, right? So now I have to run this stupid macro, which isn't as big of a deal.
Player base.
Yeah, right.
Which is the worst.
Like I did it before all the Sims came out, right? So I was like, oh damn, this is tough. But it's a little bit weird for trinkets for warlocks right now. I don't know if there will ever be a better trinket with the waste rune synergy and that one that just is giving your imp an additional 100 stat points.
That one that scales the stats into spell power, that's providing spell power not just to you, but to the whole group, right? The demonic pact. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
I think so. I can pull it up. I have it on.
I think that's what happens in Wrath with demonology warlocks.
Or am I thinking of something else?
I think that's Wrath demonology warlocks.
Yeah, Wrath demonology, you get demonic pact for the group, for the party.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, we do have there's one last thing I want to talk about. We have very little time left, so I'm going to move us on real quick, okay?
Sure.
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right. Well, we are low on time. We had two discussion topics. I'm going to skip the Season of Discovery Phase 3 DPS rankings, and the reason I'm skipping that one is because everything's right in the world. Melee DPS are on top, how it should be, how it should always be, and keep it that way. Sorry, casters, you're at range, and that's the way it should be. But we will talk about is raiding in Season of Discovery too easy? Who wants to jump in? Go ahead.
I think it's great that the raids are not very challenging. I made a whole YouTube video about this, and the comments on that were very polarized. But I think it's good if the raiding is pretty accessible. And I put this like directly in comparison to like when my guild was trying to kill Heroic Lich King in Wrath of the Lich King. And we wiped over 100 times. And for the longest time, this was a boss that like only the top 2 or 3% of the players could do. And if you wanted to kill this boss, you really needed to select a very high quality team and dedicate an incredible amount of time and practice to overcome this content and wipe literally hundreds of times. And my guild wasn't the best guild in the world, but the best guild in the world, even they wiped over 100 times before they got a Heroic Lich King kill. I mean, they were doing it in 100% Trial of the Crusader gear, but still, like, that level of difficulty is just absurd to me. I much rather have it where the raids are like kind of easy and the players invent whatever kind of difficulty they want, be that speed running or boss parsing, but basically everyone has the experience of killing the boss, getting a chance at best in slot loot, and like clearing the content. I don't want clearing the content to be something for like only the top 20% of players or something. Like I think that should be well over half of the players. The content should be tuned so that they shouldn't have any problem clearing it.
I love that you just said that, by the way. That is the exact conversation I just had with Showbeck and Grays. Like 3 days ago, we were talking about raid difficulty and the metric in which the community views skill, air quotes, right?
Yeah.
And skill at the game is no longer the guy that has Thunder Fury standing in Stormwind or Org, right? You don't look at that and go, that guy's really good. Look, that's crazy. He's got this legendary item. The metric for skill now is player made. It's how are you parsing? How fast are you clearing? How efficient is your raid group? And I like it that way. I like exactly what you just said. Keep it to where everyone can clear it, as a Grend would say, with a beer and Doritos raid night. But if you want the skill to increase or the difficulty to increase, that's incumbent on your raid team to make that decision and get groups of like-minded people together and increase that difficulty for yourself. It doesn't have to be engineered difficulty in the game by the devs.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with you guys that I think it's best to have it easy, right? But I'd also argue that Sunken Temple in a lot of the fights have way more onus on everyone in the raid doing the right things than anything ever was in vanilla. Like in Molten Core,
I agree.
Yeah, you need 10 people to know the mechanics, tanks, healer 2, and a few kicks. Like you need those people to know how to do it, and you could have 25 just bodies, and the 15 like people that actually know the mechanics to do the mechanics, and that's what you need. But I found things like, at least at the gear level we're currently at 2 weeks in, like it, if 3 people are screwing up on Erraticus, like that can really hurt the entire raid. Whereas before, in a 20-man, you just needed like maybe 7 to 8 people that actually knew what they were doing, and everything was going to be fine. So there is it is easy in the sense that it's way easier than like a Wrath, but there's much more onus on everybody doing their job properly and not just standing there hitting one button and standing in queue and yada yada.
Yeah, I do agree.
There's a good middle ground right now between Molten Core level face roll and retail level mechanics, right? Like you've got this like middle ground where us boomers choose to live in classic WoW.
Yeah.
And I like that. I'm okay with that.
I like easier because I generally like people that don't perform as well more. And I want to hang out with them. Like, that's really the truth of it.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the thing. Like when you like make groups for this content, I think it's totally reasonable to like want to clear the content. And if the content is very difficult, you're going to have a very bad time if you invite people that are not skilled or knowledgeable enough or prepared enough to clear that content. And so then like you want to clear the content, you have to be very picky with who you take to your group. And it's just like, it's so much more chill if I can just be like, who wants to do Nomer? Let's do Nomer, and not have to go through this like checking and being like, I want to clear the content, so I need to make sure I'm not bringing some guy who's going to drag down the whole group. Like, just make the thing easy enough so the guy with the beer and the Doritos isn't a hindrance to the group.
And if he is, it just means he's standing in stuff, and he needs to. You just say, hey, don't stand in stuff, and we try again, and a couple wipes out, and you clear it, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's also. Oh, sorry, go, Ubi.
I was only annoyed with when they nerfed it because I'm a bit salty. We went in on our Monday night, and then like our reset is 3 o'clock in the morning Tuesday or Wednesday, so you can raid as late as Tuesday. We raided on Monday. They nerfed it between Monday and Tuesday, but we couldn't get guilders online to do it, and then we were just one of those 6 out of 8 scrub teams for the first ID and everyone else went in on the other day and cleared
Dang.
it. That's my only problem with the nerf. I think they should have just kept it like, give us what we got. It can stay that for 4 days and then nuke it like they did. Now that I've gone in, I'll tell you what, when you go in there with 15 guys that watched absolutely nothing and they live off the every breath of the raid lead, it was still relatively difficult. Like the amount of people that were just dying to acid rain, and they were going, "What's acid rain?" Like in their death log, and you just go, fucking hell. Like,
I mean, this raid is more difficult than I'm pretty sure anything in Classic era. Like there's more mechanics that you have to pay attention to and can't ignore.
Yeah, acid rain on Aranicus is legitimately like super easy, like mythic dungeon. Like you just have to look at the floor, but it's everywhere. Like there's a lot on the floor. If you let a few of them get their cast off, like it snowballs really quick.
I guarantee you that same raid, if GTFO was working, would be fucking fine. Like,
you'd have people
I honestly do.
They'd run somewhere and it just wouldn't stop screaming because the acid rain was everywhere.
Well, then they keep running. They keep running. And I've also found a different difficulty that's popped up. So me and my co-leader of my raid, Move, like we didn't struggle at all running 10-mans, but 20-man is a whole new difficulty of looking at stats, making sure everything's going right, seeing where the problems are, and getting everybody to move as a unit. And then also just like the chatter in Discord and not wanting to be like, shut the fuck up. But like everybody's talking, and it's just like, you want to have fun. You don't want to tell them not to, but like, you're like, well, we need to talk about this. The raid lead tries to talk and then he's just like, nobody's listening. It's, it's a new level of difficulty that's just like popped in
organization
because of more people.
Yeah, purely the more bodies has made it a little bit more difficult. And it feels like raiding now. For all of SoD, it kind of just felt like doing, slightly more
dungeons,
difficult runs. This legitimately feels like raiding, which I like.
I like a lot, but I'll be honest, I have a lot to learn and a lot to like improve on if I'm going to keep doing this. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work for, new raid leads, also new tanks. Anything in SoD prior to this, positioning wasn't as big of a deal on most fights, and many fights positioning is a huge deal in Sunken Temple, like, and that's a hard thing to learn, so. I don't know. Anybody have anything else on is raiding too hard? Like,
I'm excited to see next phase and to see what they do with the existing raids. Other than, I know we know Molten Core is going to be 20-man now. Are they going to be changing any mechanics? Is it going to be kind of like at SOM where there is a harder difficulty to those existing raids as well? Or are they going to keep it the same way? And then the new raids might just end up being crazy. Like whatever they choose to put in, I'm hoping for like, Hyjol or Grim Patrol or Karazhan Crypts or something. It would be really cool if it takes a bit of a spike and there's at least a couple like 40-man raids that you can do and stuff like that.
I'm with you.
I also wonder if you're going to be going back and clearing Sunken Temple at 60, because there still might be things that you want. Or
people are still doing Nomer for just things like the mount and everything else, like the whimsical world warper. But I do agree with you.
The domesticated attack chicken too, dude. 5% attack power, attack speed. That's serious business.
Yeah, I'm cool with harder modes, but as I think most people in this call know, I don't want better gear for harder modes. Like, I think the harder modes is cosmetics or different things, titles. I think you're doing it to like be the best of the best. And I think it cheapens the game when people have to watch you doing that in gear that they're not wearing. If they're wearing the gear, they're going to respect you doing it more too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the prestige, the super hard modes, the best way to put those in is not give them better gear rewards, but to give them like cosmetics, mounts, titles, tabards.
100%.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's been a good show. I need to start wrapping this up so these guys can go and I can get a quick picture for a thumbnail. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. You can send us an email to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to interact with us on Discord, it's warcraftreloaded.com/Discord. If you'd like a Rested XP guide, I don't know if they have, I don't know. There's no reason to get one right now, I don't think. But if you do get one for anything, please use link warcraftreloaded.com/RestedXP, link in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. And Simonize, where can we find you?
I am on twitch.tv/SimonizeShow, all one word, of course. And same place on YouTube. SimonizeShow YouTube channel. You find all kinds of mostly rogue guides, PV rogue guides, all kinds of other stuff. Like I got the crafting videos, how to do the epic crafting quest. You might have seen those. Those are pretty popular videos. Live streams on Twitch and SimonizeShow on YouTube. Very good.
Awesome. And Ubiquitous, where can we find you?
You can find me in Simon's Discord, being a rogue degenerate every day, just chatting with them.
And on Countdown to Classic.
Yeah,
often.
I'm on Countdown to Classic all the time.
Great show.
This is it's my weekend morning. There's no better time to sit around, have a coffee, and talk about the game. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And Winky, Winkster, man formerly known as Pinky. Where can we find you?
Am I formerly known?
No, you're not. I just always say that joke.
You can find me twitch.tv/Winky. I'm not as active streaming anymore. I'm leaving it mostly up to podcasts and events,
which is a shame because you're a badass streamer, dude. But sorry, go ahead. Well,
we've got some events coming up. If you guys are interested in Saturday morning leveling races for 4 hours or some wild wonky, I have a challenge, a thing called Winky Wonka's Challenge Factory that we do, where you'll be doing some kind of challenge within the game and I'll make you turn your resolution down or turn your contrast all the way up or walk backwards or delete your quests or random stuff like that. So twitch.tv/Winky for that. And then on YouTube is Winky HC on YouTube. And I've been doing all of the Warlock content there. So that's, if you want to see SoD stuff, YouTube's probably where you'd see it from me.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. It's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Blazzinbob. All right, we're getting out of here. I tried to do that exit as fast as possible for you guys. I can't believe I don't think I stuttered one time. This might be a first. Hey, look at that. On my way to being the micro machine man. Oh, God, I just dated myself. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.